you want a girlfriend? Like, why do you actually want a wife? You ever just think about that? Like, actually logically think about that? I gotta admit, of course, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't want those things of themselves, if I didn't have a desire for them. But I'm really jaded. I'm really fucking jaded. I've been through relationships back to back to back, and I'm low key to the point where like I don't care anymore. I've been going to church pretty consistently, trying to be a better person and trying to, grow in a better direction than I was. But as I move closer to that direction, I'm low-key just thinking about like, what's the point? What's the fucking point? Other than to truly valorize God, to truly embrace one's own faith and perhaps be part of a community. Those are the bedrocks of belief, but going for any iota of finding some sort of companionship, some sort of wife is it's comical now. I got more success being toxic as fuck, being toxic to myself, self-sabotaging, toxic to other people. I got way more intimacy than I do now. Doing my best to be a virtuous man. One thing I know for sure that's been beautiful, because as someone who had been broken for a long time, going back to church was fruitful for being able to see true innocence in other males' eyes, in other men's eyes, their true innocence. Because I had reached some really, really dark places in my own mind, really fucking dark places. So seeing that light and knowing it's possible really gave me hope. And yet, we all learn from each other, so just having heard my buddy talk about what he's looking for at one of these events made me recognize that, like, he's looking for his wife. He's really like a good guy, and I truly mean that, and in the most good of senses. Like, he's looking for a woman to truly treat right, to truly court properly, and all that jazz. And I thought about this to myself, and I just thought, that is awful. I got an older cousin who's a girl. We both know that vibe is just so cringe, and that's just nature. That's just fucking nature. So we were at an event, and he was thinking about bouncing from this event to another event, and I just thought, dude, you're hanging out here, just chill, have some fun. And he was like, nah, there's no girls here, there's no single girls here. In my head, I just thought, you're with a homie, you're with the homies, bro. Just fucking learn to kick back, learn to have some fun with the bros. Like, that's, to me, that's what I've like learned, like something like I had to recognize. What worked in the past was the fact that you were having fun, you were living your life with your bros, your homies, You had this sense of camaraderie, this sense of belonging, this sense of identity with these bros that you had your brotherhood with, basically. And in my head, I was like, I don't know if I can explain all that in this short amount of time, but, you know, if you were to develop the friendship with me and have me as a wingman throughout all this shit, you will go way farther than what this short-sighted, I want to say romantic vision of what you're looking for is. Obviously, the more you have of something, the less you value it. And unfortunately, that is my bias. I've had a lot of relationships. He had one, and it lasted like 2 months. But in general, man, it was just, that's the wrong approach. And the worst part is, girls know that. Like, females know that. They know that they'll go to church, and you know there's all the religious jazz. Okay, I don't want to jump into that right now. Right now, the question is, why do you want a girlfriend? That, to me, that's what this is about. All the religious jazz, the soul, the communal aspect, all that stuff. Okay, we're not going to go into that. Obviously, it's usually a home for broken souls. They're more than welcomed, all healed. But for the most part, though, it's a potluck of men. That's what churches are for girls. It's just a potluck of free attention, free validation. It's just what it is, man. It's just what the fuck it is. I got when I was broken, and I go and I do my best to go to church. I got my healing from male authority figures who gave me direction, who gave me a sense of identity, of camaraderie, and essentially a rites of passage in a way. That was the actual psychological mechanics that helped me to recover, to help me from the brokenness. For women, it's not so much the same thing. For women, it is the communal glue that in which they become part of and partake in, that is what they're truly best at. And when I see a woman who is sort of like over her youthful years, her playful years, go to church, go to religion, it's usually because of that aspect, because it's a potluck of attention, validation, all that jazz, and then they have the community at their helm, they have the community as like a backing of what do you call it? It's like a reinforcement on possible toxic behavior not being able to enter because they're they're done with that part of their lives, essentially. So it becomes like another shield of layers. But for most women who don't care to that aspect of being true oneness with God, of true seeking, of true passion for Christ, they know this stuff. They might not like consciously think it, but they know that they go to the church. They're going to find guys looking for wives. They're going to find guys trying to play by the book. And and to me, it's just, I was trying to figure out what this guy was trying to do. Why do you want it so bad? She's probably asking you the same shit too. Why do you want it so bad? Because in the Bible, that's what the creationist myth mentions. That's why. Is that why particularly? Is that why you want a wife, a girlfriend? you know, having a helper help you in your journey. That to me is likely why I would want a wife. Is like, you can actually help me on my journey. That would be fucking amazing. But you don't find that at all nowadays. With the amount of like free shit, with the amount of shit that like is available, accessible, no woman is going into a relationship going, what can I offer in this, what can I offer to my man? What can I do other than sex to help him on his journey? Shit's not happening. It doesn't fucking happen. Which is why part of my last relationship was really rocky. I really, really like this girl, and if she's watching this now, you know, I'm sorry. I truly am. Had she simply allowed a space for us in which I can do my thing and do it better, right? If she would have brought some of that aid into what I was trying to build, we would have gotten so much farther. That way I can do that, build it, turn right back around and build her up and build each other, build us up. But that shit doesn't happen. What we learn in modern dating now is you might as well fucking do it on your own. You might as well just forget the whole idea of someone else helping you, because it's just not gonna fucking happen, especially for guys, especially for fucking guys. Okay? All a girl has to do, lower her standards in one way or another, and then she's gonna get some sort of upgrade in lifestyle. At the very least, finances, I don't know, fucking anything else. But for me in particular, you know, they know that. They fucking know that. So why do you want a girlfriend? When it comes down to it, it's because of the cute little butt. That's it. For the vast majority of men, it's gonna come down to just that. All right. The good answers are to honor God through our relationship, right? Those are the best answers. Those are the greatest answers. Those are the answers that get talked on the stage and shit like that. Which reminds me of another thing. Girls know this intuitively. They probably talk about it all the time, but it just goes down as another day. And if one of these church girls like knew like the shit that I had, it's like recovering F-boy type of shit, right? Like if they knew that, like half of the stuff they throw at me it's just hilarious. It's just like, to me it's hysterical, and at this point in my life I just don't want to deal with it. Like, all right, cool, you're not about it. I'm not fucking play childish middle school games at this point, you know. And then I have to deal with the repercussions of what comes down later when they recognize, oh, you know, he's not like these other guys, which are, I don't know. I particularly think church makes men a little effeminate. Not to say that there aren't masculine guys there. There certainly are, but they're a dime a dozen, bro. Dime a dozen. You know, I admire a couple of them there. But I was watching this one sermon. I had got the chance to go to this one church. One of my two buddies I knew were going there that night. So I just wanted to meet up with them. Yeah, unfortunately, my ex was fucking there. I did my best to avoid her, but apparently, apparently, we're not gonna get into it. But I thought it was polite. So either way, the whole thing was about like this woman. Her name was like Abby. She was giving the sermon, or whatever the fuck it is, right? It's not a lecture. I don't know. She was leading that night. She was talking to like woman about the book of Esther and they were preparing to be wives, right? And in my head, I was like, okay, this is interesting. You know, you go through some passages, and then she kind of riffs off on her own. And in my head, I was just like, but are you married? Like, are you yourself married? How are you giving advice? Like, how are you on the stage giving advice and you're not married? And it just made me realize, like, dude, women give each other terrible advice, garbage advice. A guy already has to do 90 to 99 to 100% of his own fucking life. And she's over here telling other women, know your worth, don't settle for less. Like the same old cliche bullshit. It comes down to just take, and take. Find somewhere in which you could fucking take. And in my head, I'm just thinking, you know, now thinking about that shit. First, it's funny, because I'm just like, the fuck? How are you saying all this shit? Where's your ring? Like, that's the first thing, was where's your fucking ring? Giving other girls advice. Basically, you might as well just tell them to stay single. All right, and then on the other hand it's just bullshit. It's crazy. It's insane to me. You want a girlfriend because, first off, part of your desires isn't under fully control. You desire something that you feel you're not whole without it. Second off, you believe your religion, whether or not you know, you want to get into the actual debate of it, whether it's supposed to be this way, but you believe your religion demands it of you. When it low-key, if you were to approach it that way, you're a joke if you approach it that way. And you will be the good guy that, like, the guy she actually has intimacy with and her will laugh at. And then finally, okay, talked about your actual desire, aka lust, aka perhaps, you know, you want to draw a line in the middle, and then you could do, you know, wholesome desire for intimacy, whatever way you want to put it, religiosity, and then just, in essence, I think just companionship, right? The snuggle fests, all that stuff. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Oh, I forgot one. Status. You think it'll make you look good. Yeah. I'll give you one better reason you want a relationship. It is where you will learn the most about yourself. Truly. Truly. I'm not even fucking kidding. Me, the 4 to 5 relationships I've been throughout in my 20s have been where I've lost myself, found myself again, and then had to rediscover myself, rebuild myself. And every time I may have lost that art, that ideal art of self-creation, of making yourself your life project. I may have lost that, but every time I found it again, it was more distinct. It was more distinctive. It was more particular. It had granular detail to it every time. I think that's why you should probably get into a relationship. Honestly, the character development. That's it. Because if you go in thinking it's gonna be rosies and sunshines and all that shit, that is for a very few to truly live out. I know a couple men that already come to mind that are truly of the spirit. Like, they don't have this classically liberal minded that I have. I'm a free thinker. I'm an artist. I'm a free spirit. I can believe and think in the veil of Christianity, in that sandbox. I can do that, but I also have the mental aptitude, the mental gymnastics to be able to hop out of that sandbox and look around in different lenses, different worldview lenses. It's a blessing and it's a curse, unfortunately. But it has its pros and cons, just like everything else. It's got its virtues. All right, done.